people are afraid of breast cancer, especially women. Osteoporosis is the thing that is really taking away our quality of life. And it affects so many people. And they say, oh, I don't have osteoporosis. I fell on the ice and I didn't break my hip. That's not the case. People who have osteoporosis actually fall because their hip broke. And you just never know if you don't get it tested. But testosterone early on can prevent it. I think that people don't realize, they think of their ovaries as the factory and the testes, the factory of their hormones. And then, later in life we realize that the adrenal glands play into play. But not very many people look at their liver as like, yeah, that's my factory for hormones. But your liver has to get rid of the old hormones so that it doesn't build up and cause problems. And it has to activate them to this kind of that's going to bless your life. And it has a lot to do with whether or not it's a safe version, and it converts it into useful receptors. So your liver actually is the gateway, and it is part of the factory. It's so important for your hormones that I started my book off with the liver.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Mike Mutzel here with High Intensity Health Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We're super excited to have you with us. And today we're live with Dr. Tami Meraglia, and she's the author of The Hormone Secret, which is a new book. And I'm going to tell you, the subtitle here is Effortless Weight Loss and Renewed Energy in Just 30 Days. So I've known Dr. Tami for, I think, 4 or 5+ years, and she spoke at Sound Functional Medicine, which is a group here in Seattle, Washington, and some other conferences and so forth, and met her there. So very excited to have you here, Dr. Tami. How are you today?
Oh, great. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm very excited. So let's just say our listeners don't know that you're so interested in aesthetics and skincare, but now you really want to share people kind of how to rework their biology from the inside out. So where did this motivation come from?
Well, really, I had 3 things. So I'm an MD, and I'm board certified in cosmetic medicine and in naturopathic medicine. And some people think that's an odd combination. But really, when you look good, you feel good, and when you feel good, you look good. So I wanted to be an expert in both, and so I went and did the extra education. And, the Hormone Secret was really sort of my gift to everyone who can't get to see me in Seattle. Though we do have a virtual medical clinic where we see patients via Skype and phone all over, it's still just one patient at a time. And there are really some great shortcuts and very evidence-based things that people can use to reboot their biology. And my motivation was really threefold. One is I'm a mom. I see patients every single day. I have an Italian husband. I'm busy. And so I needed to figure out the shortcuts for me and for the thousands and thousands of women. And so I needed to figure out how to get all that information out there and get it doable. We've all heard, yes, you should green juice, meditate, and walk every morning. Well, it's either that or get my kids' lunches ready for school, because both are not happening. The second reason was really my patients. They just kept saying, I saw my traditional doctor, and they were told they were fine. And I think fine's a 4-letter word. And I don't want anyone to feel fine. I want them to feel fabulous. But even more worrisome was these women, I felt dismissed, or I was given a prescription for a sleeping pill or an antidepressant. And we don't need to have those as the first options. Now, I'm not against traditional prescription medication. I know that antidepressants save lives, but let's figure out why this is going on, and maybe just a few tweaks and rebooting could actually get our vitality back. And then the third reason that I did it is that I think there's a lot of information for women out there about estrogen and progesterone, but nobody's talking about testosterone. And that's my favorite hormone. And we only need a little bit, but it has an outsized role in how we look, feel, and function. And most women are really afraid of testosterone. They don't want to get beards and, become aggressive and get acne. But my book is all about how to boost your hormone production, including testosterone, without a prescription. So just using your own body we can, if we give our bodies specific ingredients, it'll do a good job. We just have to encourage it in the right way.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, beautifully said. And what's nice about this is timeless, and you've practiced this and helped a lot of women, reboot their own hormones, and it worked on yourself. And so you talked about this in your book, The Hormone Secret, which I was diving into the last couple of days, and it's excellent because you have a lot of practical quizzes in there and information about hormones. And I wanted to start off with testosterone. I'm glad you mentioned it because you talk about the untold story of testosterone and how it affects our brain, and particularly in women, their brain and cognition and so forth, but also bones. So let's kind of talk about this untold story of testosterone.
So that's the really sad part, is that there are some great double-blind, placebo-controlled trials, which translation of that from doctor speak to regular speak is a study that is as good as it can get, using testosterone head-to-head against Fosamax, which is the most commonly prescribed prescription medication for osteoporosis. Guess what? Testosterone did just as well, but no side effects. What is the worst side effects that could happen with Fosamax? Necrosis of the jaw. Ew. So great. It helps remodel the bone. It helps stimulate bone growth. We don't want hard bones that crack, so it helps create resilient, strong bone instead of hard, brittle bones. And so it's excellent for bone health. And this is a really wonderful thing because there are some women who can't even try to boost their estrogen even naturally because they've had breast cancer or a hysterectomy or things like that for uterine cancer. So testosterone can actually really bring back some quality of life, but also treat some things, prevent things like osteoporosis. People are afraid of breast cancer, especially women. Osteoporosis is the thing that is really taking away our quality of life. And it affects so many people. And they say, oh, I don't have osteoporosis. I fell on the ice and I didn't break my hip. That's not the case. People who have osteoporosis actually fall because their hip broke. And you just never know if you don't get it tested. But testosterone early on can prevent it.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, beautifully said there. And I think that's, my mother's actually going through this with hip issues herself and has had 2 hips replaced and kind of thought it was like, oh, just going and getting your oil changed now, modern medicine has set it up, but it's been a really rough road. And you talk about that in your book, how, some ladies, your patients would tell you, I'm just not going to fall. But like you just said, and people have weak bones and that's what causes them to fall. And it's really debilitating and the quality of life goes down. But even more, you talk about how testosterone helps women with energy. Do you want to talk about energy and looking good and having a little bit of muscle?
I think that's the biggest thing, is that it's the energy. People give testosterone as the libido hormone, and yes, it'll rock your bedroom, but it's going to rock your life. And it does that by giving you back your energy. Not only energy throughout the day, but if you work out or have that next day recovery leg, it's going to fix that. The other thing is that your muscle to fat ratio, without increasing your exercise or changing anything at all, by boosting your testosterone naturally, you are going to lose fat and replace it with muscle. And fat is an organ, and it does us no good. We don't need as much as we have. So replacing it naturally with our own testosterone is an amazing way to feel and function our best. And then, of course, the receptors in our brain. We have testosterone receptors in our brains. And so it treats depression. And I think mild depression is an energy robber. So when you get people to feel better, they're going to have more energy.
Fantastic. Now, you talk about in your book, between the ages, I think, of 20 to 40, there's up to a 50% drop in these hormones. So testosterone being one of them, let's kind of tackle, you talk a lot about progesterone and estrogen. Let's talk about, I guess, maybe progesterone first, because I think you said that's the one that tends to go down first, and it goes down fast.
It does. It does. And, your hormones are like a symphony, and they all must be there, and they all must work together. And that's why it's so sad that testosterone's left out so much, because it's really important. When you go to the symphony, if the violins sound terrible, the whole symphony sounds terrible. So they do have to all work together. And the first one, like you said, that has a tendency to leave is progesterone. And progesterone is our peaceful hormone. It's been called the Valium that bathes the female mind. And women who wake up between 2 and 4 in the morning wide awake, that's a progesterone deficiency. They don't need a sleeping pill. They need their progesterone. And it was the first hormone that I noticed in my own life. I just had a lot more effort that it took to be patient with my husband, patient with my children, you know, not with them as people, but with their clothes that were left on the floor, and silly things that I kept. It was like I was looking at myself and saying, who's that? And when I got my progesterone back and my other hormones balanced, not using prescriptions, I was able to have choices again, and I was able to be my best self.
That's fantastic. Let's kind of dive into the specifics that you talk about in your book, and you have some wonderful quizzes on each of these different hormones, so folks can check that out. But let's talk about dosing specifics. Everyone's different, and I know you're a fan of testing, and you talk about your testing protocols, but any generalizations you can kind of give women listening right now on progesterone?
You know, progesterone's available over the counter, so that's one of the ones that's really lovely because you can actually just dive in. And I always recommend that if you're not going to get a blood test, you should follow the directions on the bottle because they've made sure that it's safe. The other thing is progesterone is one of the very few hormones that is safe to take by mouth. So you can actually get a prescription if you're known to have low progesterone, if the natural boosting doesn't give you quite enough. And it directly stimulates the GABA receptors in your brain. Now, the GABA receptors are the same receptors that alcohol and opiate drugs and sleeping pills are also directly receptors. They're the same receptors. So it's a really great swap for those things that have a host of terrible side effects.
Absolutely. Now, what have you found to be more effective for the waking up? So the ladies that, and this is a real common question that I get online and when I work with doctors is, what do you do for patients, Mike, that wake up at 2 in the morning? And we just talked about progesterone, but what have you found as a clinician to be more effective to get rid of that symptom, the oral or the topical progesterone?
Well, there's two parts of that, right? The very best form is the one the patient will use. And so I can say, no, it's the oral. And in fact, somebody hates swallowing pills, and so they only do the pill about 50% of the time. In that person's situation, the topical is better. But in a perfect world, because the oral has that little bit extra brain activity, I love for sleep the oral version of the progesterone. It's not available over the counter, so you always start with the topical and see if it helps, and then just find a doctor that practices functional medicine or call us, and you can be part of our virtual medical clinic, and we'll take care of you, and find somebody that thinks outside the box.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Now, let's kind of talk about testing before we dive into estrogen. Are you a fan of the 24-hour urine or whole blood or blood spot? What do you recommend?
You know, I think that blood is an okay and good place to start. It's not going to show you everything, but you know what? Your health insurance will probably pay for it. So it makes it more accessible for more people to get started. But for my patients, I want to know what your body is doing with all those hormones. Every hormone becomes another hormone, and then another one, and another one, and these are metabolites. And I want to know what your metabolites are, because some of those metabolites are naughty, and they are linked with increased risk of cancer. And the best place to test the end metabolites is at the end. So at some point, I want to see a urine test because I worry that maybe the blood test could have gone through another conversion, and I don't really know what the true end is. And so I like to see at least one urine test. Mm-hmm. Saliva is another option. I found saliva to be not paid for by health insurance, and I really try and work with my patients so that they can utilize traditional medicine and naturopathic medicine simultaneously. And that's kind of the MD that's board certified in naturopathic medicine. I'm guilty by my own design.
Yeah. No, that's great, though. Give people options, but it sounds to me like the 24-hour urine is going to be the most accurate. So fantastic information there. Now, let's kind of tackle estrogen. And you talk about in your book that women, when they go from perimenopause to menopause, cognitive decline tends to change a little bit. You want to dive into that?
Yes, and remember, menopause is only defined as 12 consecutive months without a period. So big deal. It's really the 10 or 15 years around it that you feel like you're crazy, or you don't feel like yourself, not confident and happy in your own body. And a lot of it has to do with our brain. There's a great study that was on nuns and their cognition and dementia levels in the nuns that had higher estrogen levels was statistically significantly lower than the nuns that had lower estrogen levels, so less dementia, less cognitive decline. Why is a nun study so good? Well, because they eat the same, they sleep the same, they exercise the same. I mean, it's an amazing group of people to study that there are very few variabilities. And so estrogen is really important. And there's some early studies that if you can restore estrogen in people with early dementia, their dementia can improve. Interestingly, testosterone does the same. Especially in men, it's a great treatment. Testosterone for men is a great treatment for early dementia.
Great information. So let's talk about this treatment. And in your book, you talk about detox, stress reduction, and foods that balance your hormones. So I guess let's kind of go down the detox route, because I think that precedes some of the other components. Why should we detox, and what are your best strategies to help increase detoxification?
I think that people don't realize, they think of their ovaries as the factory and the testes of the factory of their hormones. And then, later in life we realize that the adrenal glands play into play. But not very many people look at their liver as like, yeah, that's my factory for hormones. But your liver has to get rid of the old hormones so that it doesn't build up and cause problems. And it has to activate them to this kind that's going to bless your life. And it has a lot to do with whether or not it's a safe version, and it converts it into useful that can be used in the receptors. So your liver actually is the gateway, and it is part of the factory. It's so important for your hormones that I started my book off with the liver, as I didn't want people doing all these things to boost their hormones, and then, the old hormones that are all worn out and all not doing any good are stuck in the liver. So in traditional medicine, we don't talk about liver congestion. We don't talk about liver function. You either have a perfectly functioning liver, or you have, cirrhosis or hepatitis or something that, there's nothing in between. That's so unrealistic. That's traditional medicine. You're good until you're not. So, I think the absence of disease does not equal wellness. It just means you're not sick. And our liver has to deal with everything that we put on our skin, everything we breathe, everything in our environment, all of our food. It is overloaded. And cleaning it out is just essential. It has to go through that gateway for anything to happen, including weight loss. So any weight loss program that you do a liver cleanse first, you're going to be more successful. It's the exit for the fat. And if the doorway is like all cluttered, the fat can't get out as well.
Dr. Tami, we've had Jeffrey Fine on before, and he's the gastroenterologist and the chief at Irving Surgical Medical Center in Texas, and he is a huge liver guy, and this is what he sees. But he sees a lot of patients and his clients that come in with a lot of liver congestion and elevated liver enzymes and fatty liver and NASH and so forth. So what do you recommend? I mean, obviously diet's really important, and maybe we can talk about some of the natural herbs and botanicals and supplements that we can take, but where do we start to make sure that maybe just to maintain liver health, and then for someone that really wants to optimize their hormones to take it to that next level? What do we do?
You know, you need to find, if you really want to go for it, you need to find a liver cleanse that honors that there's a phase 1 and a phase 2. It's kind of scary, and you know, with all that I have going on, I really didn't want to make a liver cleanse. I just thought there's enough out there, I'll just find a good one. But the more I researched, the more worried I got that there were all these liver cleanses that helped people get through phase 1, which is the taking apart of toxins, often in a temporary and more dangerous. That's why we have phase 2, the conjugation, where you put things back together and excrete it from the body. So you really need to find a liver cleanse that honors and helps your body through phase 1 and phase 2. And if someone tells you that, you know, you can completely detoxify and cleanse your liver in 7 days or less, not sure that that's enough time. Maybe if you do this all the time, that's possible. But the shorter, the more worried I am that you're going to be stopping just at phase 1. So 2 weeks or longer is really what it's going to, for the majority of us, help your liver. And a liver cleanse should have a nutritional component and a supplement component and an educational, and that's about how your rest of your life can affect your liver. So the nutritional component, during a liver cleanse, you should rest your liver from the foods that are processed through the liver. Now, some of them are really obvious, alcohol, beef, pork, or some other ones, but some of them are not so obvious. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are awesome for you, but they're processed through the liver. So during a cleanse, you just don't want your liver to have to do anything that it doesn't have to. So no tomatoes. So you should be given a list of things that you should avoid. It's not a diet, though people then do tend to lose about 3 to 5 pounds. But it should be a nutritional guide of what you should focus on, what you should. There also should be some ingredients in either a protein or supplements or both that are both going to pull toxins out of your liver and encourage them to leave, and that are going to really get in and heal your liver. The next thing is sort of a combination between supplement / medicine and food, and that's green smoothies and juices. Your liver loves an alkaline environment, and we become more acidic as we age. Sugar makes us acidic, coffee makes us acidic, stress makes us acidic, aging makes us acidic, pollution makes us acidic. We need to be bathing ourselves in an alkaline environment. And you couldn't get a better way to do it than drinking green juices and green smoothies. Mm-hmm. So that, to me, is medicinal. That you might not need or want to do green juicing for every day of your life, but for this, it's medicine, and you're going to do those green juices. Cancer cells, so there's a Nobel Prize one that showed that cancer cells cannot survive in an alkaline environment. So any opportunity that you have to make your body more alkaline is going to be a win-win.
That's fantastic, and I wanted to highlight that a little bit. Deanna Minnick wrote a paper. She's also a Washington native as well, Dr. Tami. I'm sure you're familiar with her, but she talks about the role of the alkaline environment and detoxification, and I think this is something we kind of forget. You know, you mentioned all the different ways that we can increase phase 1, phase 2 with botanicals and herbs and things like glycine and maybe glutathione and NAC, which is fantastic, but I think a lot of people forget about the acid-base balance and why we really need an alkaline pH to detoxify. So that's where the green smoothies and vegetables come in, which is awesome. Let's kind of talk about now, you're an expert in this field when it comes to cosmetics and skin cleaning and you know, different chemicals that people put on their body every day, and they don't know that it's affecting their liver and all sorts of, you know, their endocrine system. What are some nasty compounds that we should avoid that could be toxic to our liver and skin health?
Our liver is going to make our skin glow. That's the first thing. You ever remember your grandma saying, I have a liver spot on their skin? So your liver has a lot to do. So you can clean up your skin a lot just by cleansing your liver. But there isn't a bigger culprit in a woman's life than her hair and skincare products and makeup that assault our liver every single day. And so I have, you know, essentially 2 clinics. One is cosmetic, non-surgical, and one is naturopathic medicine. And so the first thing I do when people say, well, you know, I don't want to harm my hormones, but I kind of like to wear a little bit of makeup. And what am I going to do for skincare? We turn around the bottle or whatever it is, and we start at the bottom. The top ingredients are usually all pretty good. They're the active ingredients. But the bottom is where all the preservatives are starting to show up. And the biggest hormone disruptor are parabens. Ethyl paraben, butyl paraben, P-A-R-B-E-N. It's not paraffin. It's not a wax. And it's a preservative. And the purpose of this preservative is to allow the product to stay on the shelf for longer. That's it. It's just to increase profitability. It doesn't need to be there at all. And it's what we call a xenoestrogen. It acts like bad estrogen in your body and fits our estrogen receptors. Now, people say, oh, well, I just put it on my skin. It's just a bit. It's not getting in. No, 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 no. We have found that the urine of teenagers has an obscene amount. And there is a study by the Environmental Working Group and Mount Sinai School of Medicine, and they took blood and urine and wanted to check for toxins. The average person had 97 toxins in their blood and urine.
That's incredible.
And 98% of the people tested had some of these, and it was over 400 toxins that they could identify in our blood and urine. And these are from babies to adulthood. I mean, it's just frightening. So there's so many things that you don't have a choice of. You don't have a choice of the pollution. You don't have a choice of the fire retardant that's put on your furniture. But there are a lot of things you do have the choice of, and so your skincare just needs to be free of those parabens. Now, everybody says, well, do I have to do organic? Well, organic is an interesting thing. The true definition of organic from a science perspective is that it has a carbon molecule, so that doesn't matter to us at all. But organic usually means that it doesn't have pesticides and things like that. And so that's a good starting point. But I have found that a lot of the organic skincare is great for maintaining, but my cosmetic patients who are over the age of 40, they don't find it actually changes their skin. It's not improving their brown spots. It's not improving their fine lines. It's not improving their redness or their wrinkles or tightening their skin. And so you literally, Mike, are the very first person to know this. I am in the packaging phase of a cosmetic grade organic skincare line from a company in Belgium.
Awesome.
So it will be out in the fall.
That's fantastic. What's the name of that, so folks, if you do know, or do you want to tell folks kind of where they can look out for that?
Well, we are going to do two lines. One is Dr. Tami's organic skincare line, and the other one is called MK Skincare, and it's a skincare line for tweens. Because kids don't know what to use either, and the girls are starting to get pimples and things, and who wants to disrupt their hormones? But generally speaking, look at the back, go down to the bottom, and if you can't pronounce it, neither can your liver.
That's really good information there, Dr. Tami. And I want to highlight a personal story. My daughter has really curly hair, like crazy curls, and it gets all tangled up. So she bought this children's detangler, and it smelled great, and we just thought this was going to be the healthiest thing. And I'm like, Deanna, have you read and she's a chiropractor, she's into functional medicine. She's like, no, it said it's natural. So I read the back, and it's loaded with parabens and phthalates. So don't just trust a label that says it's natural.
Arsenic is natural.
Right. Mercury.
Yeah. Well, we have the same. I have a daughter with crazy curly hair, and this is so frustrating. I took 20 minutes to find a conditioner that didn't have a ton of junk in it. And I thought, the average person is not going to be this dedicated, and they're going to be so confused, because I was confused. So it is hard, and that's why I'm really grateful for sites like the Environmental Working Group, and I have a link to Thrive Market, which is an organic Costco, really. And they've done all the research for you.
So many resources, and I looked at a study and was doing some blogs on this this weekend. So the Public Library of Science recently published a study that showed that early menopause was linked with high blood levels of these persistent organic pollutants, and parabens was one, phthalates were another, and they looked at the flame retardants, and that was, that category, phthalates, parabens, flame retardants, were the highest in the bloodstream of individuals, women that had earlier menopause, and this was an average of 4 years earlier. So huge that you're talking about this in your book and giving people practical solutions to detox and avoid these compounds. And like you said, I mean, we can control a lot of things, from what we put in our skin, but there's other things we can't control. So let's focus on what we can and choosing more natural products. Let's kind of talk about now some of those stress reduction strategies. You talk about visualization and belly breathing, and we know that calming down that sympathetic, part of our nervous system is really great for balancing hormones. So what are some top strategies that you have for folks for balancing that?
I think the first thing to realize is that there are 3 parts to stress and relaxation, not 2. We think of stress and relaxation. If you're in front of your television or in front of your iPad or your computer and you're not doing work, you think of that as relaxation. That's not relaxation. That's just not adding extra stress. So there's stress, there's not adding extra stress, and then there's this thing called turning on the relaxation response. And it turns out you actually have to do something to relax, which is sort of like this, no, I can't, what are you talking about? I have to do something when I'm relaxing. That's not relaxing. But that's one of the reasons why breathing is so wonderful. There's a nerve called the phrenic nerve, and your relaxation response is really governed by the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's our rest, relaxation, rejuvenation, healing, digestion nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the fight, flight, or freeze. And we're in that when we're in traffic, deadlines, our boss, we're in that way too much. So we need to turn on this parasympathetic nervous system. And the phrenic nerve attaches to the bottom of your diaphragm. So anytime you take a very big, slow belly breath so that your belly expands, you're literally turning on your phrenic nerve, and it's turning on your relaxation response. So I like my patients to do 5, I call it take 5, and they're like, no, I can't do this 5 times a day. And I said, you know what? If you don't have time to breathe 5 times a day, we have to have a whole nother conversation.
Right.
But it's just 2 or 3 breaths in the morning, 2 or 3 breaths before your meals, and 2 or 3 breaths at night. And it completely changes how you feel, and it's going to change your chemistry.
Gosh, that's amazing. So I know our listeners are probably kind of wondering, wait, the phrenic nerve, vagal nerve, because we talked about vagal nerve and heart math before. Do you want to kind of explain how that works a little bit and the differences?
Well, I love heart math. And the vagal nerve is something that's going to affect your heart rate, and your carotid artery is very involved in that. When we have in the hospital, if somebody has an irregular rapid heart rate, we massage their carotid artery, and that will stimulate the vagus nerve and calm it all down. But there are people who have a surgery called a sympathomectomy, basically cutting your sympathetic nervous system off, have these surgeries that disrupt all of these nerves. The ones that are left intact, like you said, are the phrenic nerve and the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is really attached to your heart, and that's why the heart math is so good, because you can get your beat-to-beat variability. Not just how fast or slow it is, but it turns out that the variability, like how much distance and how even that is between beats, has a lot to do with whether you are in the parasympathetic nervous system or not. And some people call it the Zen place, or, there's lots of different cultures that call it different things. Basically, what we're doing is science is finally catching up to ancient medicine. and who's the new age medicine, right?
Great. Beautifully said there. And I like how you differentiated relaxation with active, calming and so forth. So it's really, I think a lot of people just tune out with a TV, a glass of wine and so forth, and they don't want to actively participate. But it's just like if you want a nice looking skin, or you want money in the bank, you have to go to work. If you want nice teeth, you have to floss and brush your teeth. And if you want to calm down and balance your hormones, you have to actively do that. And so scheduling time. So have you found that, what's the right amount of time? Is it, like you mentioned, 2 to 3 breaths before eating, before we do major activities, or do people block out 10-minute schedules? Like, in an ideal world, what would you suggest to folks?
Okay, so let's start at the top, and then let's go down. Ideally, studies support 20 minutes twice a day. That's of meditation or turning on relaxation. Don't know about you, but that doesn't happen for me very often.
Right.
So the next down is, maybe 10 minutes twice a day instead of 20 minutes twice a day. But what I try and get my patients to do is to really go for once a day. And I get them to schedule it because we often put ourselves and our health at the bottom of the to-do list, and we do these things that are so important if we have time and energy left over. And that's ridiculous. Everything that's important in our lives gets an appointment. And we need to make an appointment. But this is my very favorite sort of trick. I used to put an appointment that said, meditate. And I'd look at it when it popped up with the alert, and I'd be like, yeah, I'll get to it. And then, 10 minutes later, the next alert comes up, and I go, yeah, I'll get to it. And the day went, and the next day it pops up again. I'm like, oh, darn it. And then days would turn to weeks, and I'd have to start all over and give myself a little come to Jesus talk and get back on it. But what I have found is we can use guilt on ourselves. So my reminder in my phone does not say meditate. It says be healthy and vibrant so you can see your children's weddings, graduations, and your grandchildren. I don't say no to that.
Wow, that is powerful.
So I guilted myself, and you kind of have to do a little bit of emotional homework to find out what your true values are. Like, what's your true thing? Why are you working? What makes your soul sing? And use that against yourself in a guilty way, because you know what? Guilt works. It does. So use it for a positive outcome. Find your true value. Don't give yourself a to-do list. Give yourself a why list.
Gosh, beautifully said. I love that piece of advice, Dr. Tami. That is fantastic. So let me see. So if I was to look at your phone, that's a repeating appointment that hits at a certain time every single day, and then no matter what, you're going to meet that appointment. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, and like this appointment, we were trying to schedule it, and I don't move that appointment. I wouldn't move your appointment for someone else, so I don't move my appointment for someone else.
Gosh, I love that. Beautifully said. So before we get to the final 2 questions, is there anything that we didn't cover regarding your book and hormone balancing that you would like to talk about?
I think that there's a lot of hormone books out there. I think that the big difference is that it's great information. There's lots of books with great information, but it's the hijacks. It's the shortcuts. It's I can do this when I'm a regular person that's running around with kids and jobs and traffic. You can do this, and I show you how.
Yeah, it's loaded with quizzes, a lot of science, but it's practical, and I really enjoyed your book, reading it. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
So that's
great. It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably more fun that now that it's done and you can share the message with the world. It's got to be gratifying. So, all right, Dr. Tami. So a couple of final questions here that we ask every guest on the show. If there was one herb, nutrient, or botanical, let's say you're going on a trip and you can only take one thing, what would that be and why?
If I went on a trip, it would be somewhere sunny, so it would not be vitamin D, even though that one's so important, because we can get it from the sun. But we're in Seattle, so if we're here, it would be vitamin D. It would be maca. Maca is a adrenal booster, and it helps hormone production, all hormones, but particularly testosterone, and general energy. It's the most ancient herb, medicinal herb. And so I would take maca, and you can take it as a pill or a powder in your water. That's what I would take with me, maca.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Anna Quebeca is a past guest on the show, and she said maca as well. So I've been
Yes,
hanging out
I
with
know
her a little bit.
Yeah, we're good friends. I love her maca.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, fantastic. So the final question here, Dr. Tami, if you were to rub shoulders with Barack Obama or a future president in an elevator and they turned to you and said, Dr. Tami is an integrative healthcare expert, what sort of health tip or lifestyle strategy should I know that I can help to improve the lives of other Americans and share with them? What would that health or lifestyle strategy be and why?
It would be two things. One is that your food is information. It is not calories only. And it tells your cells what to do now and in the future. So it matters. An awareness and an intention about your food would be one thing. And the second thing is sleep. The most amazing anti-aging gift that you can give yourself is at least 7 hours of sleep.
Fantastic. So let's talk about where our listeners can learn more about you, your book, and connect with you online.
And there's free quizzes too. drtami.com, D-R-T as in Tango, A-M-I.com.
Yeah, you have some videos and quizzes and great information there. So for those of you that are driving or walking your dog or at the gym or what have you, I posted all the show notes at highintensityhealth.com/drtami. So that'll have links to her website, links to her book and on Amazon and Nook, and other information. So thank you so much for being here, Dr. Tami. I learned a lot, and I'm going to go do that guilt health tip right now and make sure that I don't skip out on my heart math in the morning and so forth. So really appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, you know what? Accountability is also the second best thing. So I'm going to go one step further, Mike. I'm going to ask you to email me what your message to yourself is.
I will do that. I love
Great.
that. Great. Thanks
Partners
so much.
in health.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.